Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review Morning Briefing. It is Monday, the 19th of August. I'm Derek Clark, back from my holidays, and I'm joined by a full strength squad this morning. Chris and Stevie join me, and Chris needs to change his little bio there. I just noticed that just when it was heading to your good self, Chris, but good to have you on. You're not from Hampden, you're from your Rangers Cove in your house. How you doing? There we go.
Just like that, we're changed already. We'll call that a legacy issue from Saturday. Also, myself and Stevie were on both shows. Tried to make sure I ticked all the right boxes and did all the right things, and then forgot to revert them. So that's my first and only mistake this week, hopefully.
Stevie joins us as well. How's it going, Stevie?
Yeah, fine, thanks. I'm just throwing this out there. Chris and I covered Saturday. Really good performance, clean sheet, 2-0 victory, up the road, no hassles. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Yep.
We'll get you on.
I'm not saying it's down to me and Chris, but I'd be wrong not to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite right to point that out, Stevie. So yeah, Joshua, if you're listening, there you go. But lots to talk about today, and we'll talk about the offer. It's the last day, of course, folks, that you can take out a subscription to the Rangers Review website. We've got the flash sale on. So many of you have taken advantage of it, so thank you for doing just that. If you want to head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe, you can sign up, but we'll discuss that a wee bit more later on in the show. But a winning weekend for Rangers. Oh, how they had to win that game against St Johnstone. Not a classic by any matter of means. Rangers booking their place in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup there, the Premier Sports Cup. We'll take on Dundee at Hampden on, I think, the 21st or the 22nd of September after a 2-0 win. Cyril Dessers with the first opening goal, which certainly angered Craig Levein afterwards, which was quite amusing, I've got to say, when I watched his press conference. Not best pleased. And Ross McCausland with a lovely little goal later on in the game to make sure of Rangers' progression to the next round. Now, you both guys were at the game. Chris, it was in flashes, Rangers were decent, but I think there's still question marks surrounding different areas of the pitch. In these cup games, it's all about progressing, I guess.
I think, as self and Stevie spoke about post-match, it was fine. It was what it was. It felt like one of these games that if you are overly positive, you perhaps topped it up more than it deserved. If you're overly negative, then you were more critical than you should have been. Ultimately, as you said, Derek, it's the result that really mattered. Yes, a free-flowing, scintillating feast of football performance would have been great. Was that ever going to happen, considering where the squad is, where the team is, on the back of Dynamo Kiev? No. Rangers had to get through. They had to take care of that particular bit of business. They did that. I didn't feel they were ever likely to lose the game. Once they scored, you always backed them to go on and win it, which they did. And I just felt it was comfortable enough against a St Johnstone side who I thought acquitted themselves quite well, who could have caused Rangers more problems than they did. So that it's not to say that this is the new bar and we are overly happy with what we saw on Saturday. Yes, there is huge room for improvement. Yes, we all want new players in. Yes, there's still questions over the manager and questions over certain players. But just because it wasn't a 10 out of 10 doesn't mean to say that we have to continually knock it down and say it was completely rubbish and it was 2 out of 10. It was somewhere in the middle. It was job done. It was okay. I think that summed up the mood in the press conference post match. And a couple of days on, it was one of these games you're always getting nonplussed about it. If it had gone badly, we would still have been angry about it come Monday morning. It didn't. Rangers did what they had to do. And let's not go too far either way on the analysis of it.
Yep. Comment from Dave on the positive says Suter and Jeffrey were good. Great to see Danilo back. It was great to see Danilo back. Barn and Dessers made a difference when they came on. What was your main takeaways from the game, Stevie? And Did you feel for Craig Levein? Did he have a point with the Dessers goal, do you reckon?
I'll focus on Rangers, actually. He said that he didn't really want to speak too much in case he got a fine from the SFA. Well, I don't want a fine from Joshua, so it's probably best I don't talk about Craig Levein. A wee £2 off the week's wages. So, what did I think of it? Pretty much what Chris said, actually. I think the word routine springs into mind, Derek. They made it look fairly routine with a comfortable performance. And do you know what? There was areas of it that were actually good. I thought we actually played well at points. We could have easily scored 3-4 in the first half. They could have nicked one as well. So you've got to acknowledge that one. But Danilo had a hat trick of chances, which positionally done really well. Maybe just a wee bit rusty, and that'll come to him. Czerny had a couple of efforts which he went to try and kind of rifle in, and all that in the first half. I think there was another kind of wee half chances. I think somebody kind of fell on the ball at the back post and stuff like that, and there was wee bits and pieces. And I was quite comfortable at half time. Chris and I spoke about it, and I just says we need to just go and do more of the same, but actually take chances. And then we had a couple. As for the goal, the official take on it is that you play till the whistle. The whistle didn't blow. He might have signalled, he did signal, and the referee made an error that way. He's almost prejudging the foul, letting it run out, and then giving it, but he's already directed that there would be a foul. Now, I've heard people say St Johnstone team stopped. They did not stop. If you watch the actual clip of it, the boy still tries to tackle Dessers, who cuts inside, shock, and then rifles it in. The goalkeeper's still going, the defender's still going, and people are still trying to take it off Dessers. So, and by the way, there's no foul there either. He's nudged his body in front, which he's entitled to do. The boys then clipped him. There's no foul there in the slightest. So in the end, it's a correct decision. However, the referee has made an error when he's signalling too early. But signalling, you're encouraged actually not to signal as an official. You're encouraged not to do signals like that, and you're encouraged not to do the advantage signals and stuff like that. So I feel like it's just natural reaction. I feel like he's just made a mistake. Sometimes the game is so fast and people will see, if it sounds silly, sometimes you foresee things happening and you foresee a decision being made, and then he's probably realised or thought, well, that's a foul, I'm going to give it. And then the other bit of his head said, well, you need to let it play out. And that's just where it is. It's a mistake. But the correct decision was made. Rangers rightly went on and got the opener, and then got a comfortable second. I thought, by the way, St Johnstone were quite decent up front. The two boys up front, the number 29, number 16, apologies, don't know their names, but were pretty good players, pretty pacey, and I thought our defence handled it well. The plus points were, like Dave mentioned, I think Jeffy had a good game. I think, Dessers, Barron done well. I thought John Suter, having given him a wee bit of stick in the last few weeks and saying that he could be a lot better, thought he stepped up and broke the lines really well with some of his passing and kind of forward play. So, all in all, Derek, a comfortable and pleasing evening. And it was a job done and up the road. Nothing, listen, it wasn't spectacular, was it? It wasn't, 5-0, 6-0 spectacular level.
Had to win the game. Yeah, it was a potential banana skin, Stevie. They had to win that game.
Dealt with it quite well. Up the road, regroup.
Yeah, front two for St Johnstone, incidentally, Kimbioka and Sidibe. Sidibe, incidentally, I watched last season for, wait for it, Warrington Rylands in, I think, the 8th tier of English football, but he won his move to St Johnstone, and there's talk that he could be progressing further up the football ladder as well. I think he's a decent player. Point coming, I wanted to get your guys' take on this. True Ranger and a number of others says the way the team was bouncing about like they won the league after the game was a bit embarrassing, in my opinion, over another scabby performance. What do you make of it, Chris? My opinion is I don't have any issue with how the team celebrate victories as long as they win games. Your point?
When I saw it at first, I did question it. When I saw it at first, I didn't particularly like it. When the manager then explained it post-match, I could see what he's trying to do. Cyril spoke about it post-match as well. They clearly see it as a thank you to that section of the support for the backing that they got on Tuesday night, for them turning up on Saturday when so many others didn't. If it's just in that context, then I don't think it's the biggest issue in the world. I think if you see the social media clip going around and it can be taken out of context, then I agree it does look bad. It looks a wee bit naff. But I think if you listen to the players and the manager speak about it and you understand why they wanted to do it, I don't think it's that big an issue, to be fair. I say at first viewing, I thought it was a bit off, but a couple of days on, it's not something I'm really going to lose any sleep over. The manager and the players clearly felt it was the right thing to do. If I think I actually made the point in my analysis piece, you look at the general mood of the fans right now, it's not good. It's not been good for some time for a variety of reasons. Clement spoke a lot about synergy, I think was the word that he used, between fans and supporters. He has to try and rebuild that again. He has to find some way of getting the support as a whole back on the side of this team, regardless of what doubts they have about the individuals, regardless of what doubts they have over the team. He has to try and rebuild that synergy. And if that, even though it was a bit OTT, if you like, if that has any part to play in rebuilding that synergy, then it's done its job. So I do get why people think it was okay. I do get why people think it was the wrong thing to do. Ultimately, it's the manager's call. Just like Papa Bonner after the Old Firm game and that type of thing, it's his call. He makes these decisions, and ultimately, in the bigger picture, he will live and die by every decision that he makes.
Yeah, it seems to have split there. Certainly the comments coming in there. CGM55 says, go over and applaud the fans. No need to go all strictly come dancing and jump around like wallopers. What was your feeling on it, Stevie?
Mine in the press conference last Friday when John Souttar was asked a question, he just went, yeah. Just the same as the manager said. Well, can I just say yeah, just the same as Chris said? Because there's not really a lot more to add to it. Some people are going to think it's cringe. Other people are going to think it's okay. 100% it's going to be flung in our face for the rest of the season and beyond. Can we just get on with it and just concentrate on winning games and being successful? And then once you've won games and been successful and built that kind of team, then you can do whatever you want. That's the way I see it. I don't really care. I don't really like it. There's more important things going on about the football club rather than at the end. Do I think it was a great idea and everything else? I think that we should avoid things that can potentially be flung back at us. Just concentrate on winning games and winning, cups and leagues and stuff like that. And then the rest, you can do whatever you want. That's my opinion on it. Yeah. Just win football matches, I think, is what we all want to see Rangers doing, and that's for sure. Points in the game, of course, as we touched on, good to see Dessers getting his goal and Ross McCausland as well netting. Also, left back, of course, as was comment came in, Jeffy playing there, but there's seen reports from Italy, Nicolo Schira, who's a transfer market guru over there, has claimed that Rangers yesterday have shown an interest in Salernitana's left back, Domagoj Bradaric. He's a Croatian, 24 years of age. Says that the club have opened talks for a loan with the option to buy, but Salernitana have asked for an obligation upon reaching certain conditions. And he says expected a new round of talks in the next few days. Now, he spent a couple of years at Salernitana, previously at Lille in France, and before that Hajduk Split in his homeland. He's made 4 appearances for the national team as well. But with Ridvan Yilmaz's injury, Chris, do you think this makes sense for Rangers to look to strengthen in that department?
I will quote what the manager said on Friday when he was asked about the question was, will you look to bring in another left back? And Clement said, I don't think we have the assets to do those things now. I think we need to put all the focus on the positions we need for the squad for the rest of the season. He went on to speak about having Ridvan and Jefte there for the rest of the season. We have a third one with Robbie Fraser, who made a really good evolution over the last couple of months. And he then spoke about the young players having to take their chances. I would be amazed if Rangers, given all the business that they have to do, given how busy this next couple of weeks has to be for them, if a left back is the next player in the building, people are not going to appreciate that at all. That the comments under that signing tweet are not going to be positive. Yes, it's a huge blow that Ridvan is out for that 4 to 6 weeks that the manager has outlined, but that doesn't mean to say that if it had been 4 to 6 months, that's then a different situation. 4 to 6 weeks. You just have to find a way to get through it. Jeffy, I think, has been really impressive. Again, me and Stevie spoke a bit about him actually before and after the game on Saturday. I think he's been really impressive. Fair play to him. Came in, took his chance really well. We know that the manager does have faith in young Robbie Fraser because he's given him that contract. He's had him in the squad. Rangers just have to get through these next few weeks with those two options. If there was no one else there, then that's in a different situation. But I think the manager almost killed that one dead on Friday. So all the links and all the deals over the next couple of weeks, I don't see a left back being one of them.
Chris mentioned Robbie Fraser there, Stevie. He's just been offered a 3-year deal. He's 21 years of age. I would like to see him getting a run of games as opposed to going out and strengthening that area of the pitch. If he's not good enough, he came on at the weekend. If he's not good enough to start these games, then why have we offered him a new contract?
Signed a new contract, didn't he? Signed a 2-year deal, Chris.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yes. Yeah, good deal.
So, listen, see if we signed I'm going to be completely honest with you. See if we signed our left back, it would be the most Rangers thing to possibly do, considering that we have an urgent need to get more up front wingers, yes. A 10 that's about as mobile as I am, and we urgently need positions all over the place being strengthened. Left back might not be great, right? Ridvan Yilmaz might be made like a rich tea biscuit, but unless we're going to sell him, then we're not replacing him and we're not getting somebody else. And I would be particularly miffed considering the amount of work we did if we suddenly got another left back. So I'm not sure that's anything more than speculation. There was another boy link from Man U as well, or ex-Man United.
Brandon Williams.
Yeah, and that was kind of quickly rubbish. I don't see there being, I just don't think that Clement would come out and kind of rubbish it. And then Clement's always been fairly straight-batted when he spoke about these kind of things. So I don't see that happening. But it would be, a very Rangers-like to just go and get another left back. And as Cliff mentioned there, by the way, yeah. I've had enough of Croatian left backs. You know what I mean? It's not. Listen, I'm not saying that the Croatian left back we had was bad or anything like that, but it's just time to move on. I need. Yeah. By the way, Jeffy was very, very good on Saturday, and there will be games where he's not defensively challenged, where we can let him have a free run. He actually really helped Matondo, who looked brighter with him on the left as well, and it's no surprise really that they two with their pace linked up. So there's going to be games where that's going to be really handy for us if both players are still here at the end of the window. I would expect obviously Jeffy to be, but yeah, Robbie again is a good player. I would rather we just, regardless of what happened with Ridvan, I would rather we just concentrated on other areas of the pitch, Derek, which are much more priority for me. Yeah. If you were to talk about the other fullback position, then yeah, we need urgent reinforcements up front also. So, and I'm talking about 10s, wings, wherever you want to give me somebody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not for this one. Just go and get me somebody else.
Yeah.
Not like potential to bring in 6 players either, is it? We maybe have 1, possibly 2 if we're lucky, depending on who we can get in or out. If you were bringing in 8, like the good old days, you go, I go get another left back, no bother.
Yeah, those days are long gone.
We have to prioritise, don't we? And there's more positions than that.
The manager did say players have to move out the building before players come in as well. Before we address some of the other points, before I forget, then I'll flag up this offer, folks. This is the new season sale that we're running over on the website. Not only do we have a wonderful YouTube channel that you're all a part of, we do have the website. We're offering a flash sale, £12 for an entire year. Now, so many of you have taken up the offer. As I touched on at the start of the show, it's the last day of the offer to take advantage of this. So head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe to sign up. And as well as that, Stevie, you've still got the link to get an extra 10% off. Is it Clifford 10?
It is, mate. I'm not sure if that's squad number 10 or 10 stone overweight. I'm not sure either way. Or as mobile as our current number 10, whatever it is, you can get an extra 10% off that, which makes it even cheaper. So it's a brilliant deal. Don't think you'll get one as cheap as this for the rest of the year, certainly. So it's a one-off. You can get it with a 10% off for £10.80, can't you? So go and get that, and you can listen and read everything that me and Chris do Derek as well. Josh won that. Don't bother about that.
Yeah. Chris, they can find lots of, I mean, someone that's maybe thinking about taking out a subscription, why should they do so?
Just as Stevie outlined there, you can read every word that he writes and every word that I write. If that's not enough to entice you in, then nothing will. If you like your tactical analysis, then also Josh is your man. We have historical deep dives. Also Martin Ramsey provides some great insight in that. We tag out our coverage as the best Rangers journalism, not just because it's a nice line, it's because we believe it, and we think we deliver that service to the Rangers fans. It's been a busy old summer. I think we've held up our end of the bargain over the summer. As I've mentioned to Josh quite a few times over these last few days, as the numbers have continued on this sale. I think it was last Monday or Tuesday, we actually had a record-breaking day outside of the Europa League final. It was the best single day for sign-ups. And we always say, if this is the support that we get when the team is perhaps not functioning as it could do, what would be possible if Rangers could go on and have a wonderful season? Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully there's some big games, some big performances, some silverware to come. And if you want to be with us on that particular journey, as Stevie said, this is your time to sign up. So take advantage of it. It's £12 for 12 months. All the links are on all our social media, also on the description below. So take advantage of it. And if you support the channel, you like what we do, come and get a look at the website and support us on there as well.
Yeah, top stuff. Go and take advantage before it runs out, folks. Clifford 10, if you take out the subscription, get an extra 10% off. Sammy says, I've all subscribed. Thanks for the offer. You guys do a great job. So glad I came across the channel. Look forward to the coming season. Well, thank you for signing up, Sammy. Right, a few more points I wanted to address before we wrap up the show today. Just on transfers, Ted Ben says we needed that Albion Rachmani. Unfortunately, a lot of interest in Albion Rachmani, Rangers and a host of other clubs this summer, but he has decided to continue his career over in the Czech Republic. He is signed for Sparta Prague from Rapid Bucharest, a fee in the region of around £4.25 million he's moved there for. Would to like to have seen him at Ibrox, but it's one of those ones. I think Champions League qualification and failure to move on in that tournament has certainly put pay to that calibre of player arriving at the club. Just on the striker situation, Chris, can you see someone else coming in? Do you think, as I touched on earlier, the manager saying that players have to move out the building? Do you think it may be dependent on a Dessers leaving, perhaps?
I would be surprised if a number 9 comes in now. I mentioned on the show a couple of weeks ago that I didn't see Rangers carrying 4 centre forwards, 4 number 9s within the squad. The manager has spoken about Danilo being involved, and also then gave him his chance at the weekend. He has repeatedly addressed the Igaman situation about how he will get his chance, and it will be a time to eventually put him in. I don't see Rangers going and signing another one unless something happens with Dessers, unless he leaves. We know earlier on in the window there was interest, or a number of clubs had a tentative inquiry, but that's different from money being put on the table and Dessers then having a decision to make. So unless he moves on over the next fortnight, I don't see Rangers going and signing another one. I don't think they could carry 4 number 9s. I think it's important that there is more goals added to this side. Myself and Josh spoke about this again last week. Regarding the number 10 situation, Rangers need to upgrade in that area. They're looking for someone who can provide goals, certainly someone who can score goals from that area of the pitch. And you look at how important Dessers has become, not just in terms of the goals that he scored this season, being reliable, being robust enough to get through the minutes. It would be a really big call actually now for all that was spoken about him, for all the criticism, for all the comment, for all the praise that he's had. It's at this stage, a fortnight or so left. It's actually a big decision now if the manager was to sell him, because can you get someone in who we think will go on and get 20 goals a season again, and who can play the minutes that Dessers plays, especially where there's still doubts about Danilo and certainly doubts about Igaman. So I would be surprised if another one comes in.
Would you go along with that, Stevie? I go with Chris. I think Dessers for me stays. And based on that, I can't see Rangers strengthening, and it will cost a bit of money, of course, to bring in a striker. They have been linked with several, of course, this summer, maybe dependent on players elsewhere moving out the door, like Cantwell, of course, Hadji possibly heading out.
I think Chris summed it up pretty much. Would I sell Cyril Dessers in exchange for somebody else is a different question to whether or not I would sell Cyril Dessers now. So, listen, it might just be that we need to go with it. But
yeah,
I think there's genuinely, I think there's more urgent positions that probably need. Cyril's going to just, delight and annoy us for the rest of the season. That's fine. He'll probably still get 25 goals, Derek, because he'll probably still should have got 40, and he'll probably go clean through round the goalie, about to tap it in on an empty net and still chop inside on his other foot. But listen, the big guy's still there. He's still accountable. He turned up on Saturday again, 3 goals, I think, this season already. He's well on his way. So we just need to get behind him. I would rather. It's probably a different question to ask. What would you rather have? Get a couple of 10s out the door and get a 10 in, and maybe another winger, which I do think we need. Would you take a Seema type last minute kind of deal if you had to keep Dessers and things like that? Then that's a different kind of question, isn't it? Because I think everybody would be more. I think the 10's vital. If you can get somebody in that can play next to Diamande, Barron, Raskin, those type of midfielders, Sterling possibly in there, then yeah. I still listen. I know that this is a tired conversation, but James Tavernier, on his performance on Saturday, there's still big questions round about, what happens with him. He doesn't look like, he's a player that we all know that he can get to as well. So I think there's other positions in this team that urgently need rectifying. And it would be, it's more a case of, watch your poison, because some people will say, I really want a 10, I really want a striker, but I wouldn't really want a striker. Or some would want a winger, some want a centre midfielder. You could just about justify any position in the squad, maybe apart from goalkeeper and left back and stuff. So, yeah, Dessers is Dessers. I think it'll be easier for him just to finally say something on him if he has a really big moment, say in an Old Firm game or something, where he has a really big moment and he scored. Yeah, he has scored, but I'm talking about like a winner or something like that. And I don't really care how he does it. You know what I mean? If he chops inside a million times and then somehow gets it, I don't really care. Just if he has that moment, I think everybody will relax a wee bit about the big guy, and then we can kind of move on for that conversation. Derek, if you ask me genuinely, I would rather have a proper 10. Give me a number 10 as my vital position. Clear out a couple of the boys that don't want to be here and give me that first. And I think that could be the difference between, us having a really good season or us having a season which is going to be difficult.
Yeah. I feel about the 10. I don't think Rangers have got a player in there that can perform in that position that Philip Clement wants him to. So I would scrap it completely. But I don't think the manager is going to. So I think it's going to be Tom Lawrence, or he'll try and chop and change and find players that can fill that role. But I agree with you, Stevie. Rangers do need, if they are going to be playing that number 10 role, they do need to go out and get someone that is mobile enough. Whether they can do that remains to be seen. But as the manager said, and as I touched on, I think it's dependent on the likes of Cantwell and Hadji moving out the building. Right, a couple more points before we wrap up. This from Francis, sorry, at the tail end of the week. I think it was... not too sure whether the reports emerged, but I think they have been knocked down, Chris. She says, is there any truth in Matondo and Leeds? Don't think there is there?
No, that one got played down as quickly as it got topped up. If the question is, would Rangers sell Rabbi Matondo, then I think the answer to that one is yes. Will he be going to Leeds? The answer to that one is no. So we can strike that one off of the English clubs. I think there's a number in the top flight that we can strike off. There's probably some League One and League Two ones that we can strike off. The market for Rabbi Matondo is all of a sudden becoming smaller and smaller. But I think his game time and his impact so far this season lets you know that there's better options there. And Rangers have a lot of money tied up in Rabbi in terms of the fee they paid for him and the wages. He should be allowed to move on if they can do a deal. As you mentioned earlier on, Derek, the manager has reinforced this 1 in, 1 out. as Stevie mentioned there, I think they do need another wide option. They certainly need another winger. They need improvement on Matondo. If they could get him out and get another player in, I think that would be a good swap.
Yeah. If there's any news, incidentally, folks, with transfer outgoings or potential incomings, keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube channel, on the website as well, and on our social media accounts also. Doug Edwards has just signed up to the website, just signed up using Stevie's code. Thank you very much, Doug, and welcome aboard. And big thanks to Bluebells Are Blue for its kind generosity once again. He's just gifted 10 Rangers Review YouTube memberships as well. So do go and take one of those up, folks. Thank you again for your generosity, buddy. It is greatly appreciated. Right, that'll do us there. Big thanks to Chris and Stevie as ever, and thank you to you all for tuning in to the show as well. If you want to take up that offer, folks, the link is in the description below as well, rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe. Right, we'll speak to you again tomorrow morning. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye for now.